Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from 3D Tech and this is the camera review of the Realme 1. By the way, this video and audio is being shot on the Realme 1 itself. So check out the noise cancellation and stabilization offered by the phone right now. Now with that said, let's check out the specs. Now on the rear, this phone sports a single 13 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture and a single LED flash. On the front, it has an 8 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. Now this is the camera interface. There's nothing new, it's the same thing we have been seeing on the previous Oppo phones. We have features like Super Vivid Mode and AR stickers. Now coming to sample shots, these are some pictures taken in daylight and well lit conditions. This phone supports Auto HDR for rear camera, so all these pictures were taken with Auto HDR. Just like with Oppo F7, even on this phone, capturing speeds are very fast, even for HDR shots, and that gives you a great experience while taking pictures. Now coming to the picture quality, on images taken with HDR, colors look slightly faded, it has good exposure control, sharpness is good considering how fast the images are taken. For normal pictures, color reproduction is good, dynamic range is good as well. Now unlike the Oppo F7, images on this phone look more natural. This phone also has something called the Super Vivid Mode, where colors look super saturated. On the left side we have the regular shots and on the right side we have the Super Vivid shots. If there is any person in the frame, except for that person, rest of the colors change. It's definitely an interesting feature to play with. Now coming to the portrait mode, just like the Oppo F7, this phone uses just a single camera and some software processing for portrait shots. Obviously this is no pixel, so edge detection isn't good. There are a lot of imperfections, but you can see that clearly only when you zoom in, so it's manageable. Besides edge detection, everything else is pretty good. We can still use Auto HDR even while taking portrait shots, so even the dynamic range is slightly better than other phones while taking portrait shots. Color reproduction, skin tones are all good. Now coming to low light performance, these are some shots taken in indoor lighting conditions. Images look slightly dull because of the lack of light, but color reproduction is good. Capturing speeds were once again pretty fast, definitely faster than other phones in this price segment. Images are slightly soft, but that's manageable. In very low lighting outdoor conditions, colors are a little faded and slightly to the warmer side. Images are still bright with little noise. It has good sharpness as well. Now coming to selfies, this phone offers Auto HDR even for the front camera, and once again, capturing speeds are very fast. So all these selfies were taken with Auto HDR on. Front camera also has a wide angle lens, so you get wider selfies. Color reproduction is good. Selfies are slightly soft, but considering how clean the selfies look, along with the dynamic range, it's acceptable. In some cases like this, selfies are overexposed and they look kinda weird. But that happened rarely to me. All the selfies were taken in very harsh lighting conditions and this phone did a great job. I'm not a big fan of beauty mode, so I completely disabled it. This phone also supports AR stickers for both front and rear cameras, and here are some sample shots. They aren't perfect, but something funny to play with. Now coming to portrait selfies, once again it just uses a single camera for portrait mode, so edge detection isn't perfect, but better than the rear camera. Most of the time you can't see those imperfections unless you zoom in. For the rest of the stuff, like selfie itself, they look good just like the regular selfies. Now these are some selfies taken in low light indoor conditions. Selfies look bright and colors look slightly faded. Check out the hair color once. It has decent sharpness. These are some more selfies taken in very low lighting conditions with auto flash and HDR off. Selfies look bright with good color reproduction. They are not sharp, but that's to be expected in low light. Now coming to video recording, here's the sample footage. We can only record video at a maximum of 1080p resolution, and this phone doesn't have any electronic image stabilization or optical image stabilization. Colors are slightly to the warmer side but still look decent. Dynamic range, sharpness and exposure control are all good. I just wish it had electronic image stabilization. Just so you know, you can stabilize the footage on your phone using Google Photos. And this is how it looks. Now this is a side-by-side comparison. On the left side we have the original footage and on the right side we have the stabilized footage. Now coming to the front camera video recording. So guys, this is the sample footage from the front facing camera, and as you can see there is no stabilization, but the footage is pretty wide and exposure control is pretty good. Because of the wider lens you get a wider footage, but the footage looks very bright. In fact, too bright. Exposure shift and exposure control are good. Once again there is no stabilization, but the footage looks decent. I just wish footage wasn't so bright. So guys, to conclude, for a base price of 9,000 rupees, cameras on this phone are really good. More than the cameras, I like the capturing speeds. Usually with most phones under 20,000 rupees, you have to hold the phone steadily for a second or two while taking HDR shots. But this phone is super fast. So it not only takes good pictures, but also gives you a great experience while taking pictures. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Looking at the sample pictures and the sample footage, what do you think about the cameras on this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It really helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.